Beautiful song there. That is by Kestin Bogo, Niongozwe na Roho. Beautiful song. Taking us to 7:30 a.m. This is East African time. And indeed, it's time to get to know what's being reported in today's newspapers. I have three of them. Let's start with the Daily Nation. And it is CJ Koome under siege. They're saying judiciary under attack. The timing of a petition seeking the removal of Chief Justice Martha Koome from office in the middle of a vicious fight pitting the judiciary against the executive, and a section of the legislature has set tongues wagging. And the fact that it is coming days after the government lost key court cases, further infuriating politicians allied to the ruling coalition, is fueling the speculation. And there is a photo there of the under siege Chief Justice Martha Koome. How will these pan out? It's a case, of course, of wait and see how things will pan out. Heading to page 7, this is where that story is extensively covered, and a petition has been filed with the Judicial Service Commission seeking CJ Koome's removal from office. And that is what is happening, and it is, they're saying Koome targeted in escalating war with executive. And so you can read that extensively on page 7. I also see riddle of a free school, low government capitation, and also rising commodity prices is forcing new levies. So the free primary and secondary education was introduced in 2003 and 2008 respectively, and it saw a surge in enrollment as it rescued children from poor families. But hefty levies are now undermining its purpose, and it's on page 4 and 5. The Nation, they have given a breakdown of what free-day secondary school average charges per year looks like currently. So there is lunch, 13,500, uniform, 3,000, reference books, this is dictionary, kamusi, atlas, Bible, and class readers, that is amounting to 3,000 bob. Illegal levies disguised as development money, that is 2,000 shillings, and school activities 200 shillings. So the total amount, according to the Nation, for free day secondary school is 21,700 shillings. Yet it was supposed to be free secondary education. Kuna nini? That is the question, and they are trying to find answers. So on page 4 and 5 extensively you can get that so that you get to understand the same. I also see opposition MPs want a refund of housing levy. That is in as far as the housing levy is concerned, the deductions that have been happening. And the National Assembly Minority Leader Opiyo Wandayi has actually written to Speaker Moses Wetangula to demand a refund of money deducted from the salaries of MPs and parliamentary staff last month. The opposition MPs join numerous workers' unions, including those of teachers and civil servants, that have protested at the illegal deductions, citing a court order that halted the payments until a pending appeal is concluded. But I think this is just a pipe dream, because government and refunding money, same sentence. Anyway, let's see if they will be able to refund. Then it's they're saying terror, return of ruthless Kanjo spreads fear. So brutal crackdown by county enforcement officers that has not spared members of county assemblies has outraged Kenyans. County bosses are under pressure to rein in askaris who have gone rogue. That is a story on page 2, and they are talking of return of Kanjo's residents in pain at the hands of squads. A group of askaris across several counties morph into agents of fear and terror, defying the very tenets they are meant to uphold. And there is a file photo there of informal traders who have accused the city county enforcement officers of harassment and demanding bribes so as to be allowed to operate along the streets. And I keep wondering why these officers do not actually have uniform so that they are able, to be distinguished from rogue officers, because when they have uniforms and even their service numbers, it will be able to rein in on them them. But when you have, like now this photo, a file photo, and these are officers, city inspectorate officers, how then do you know legit and not so legit officers who masquerade as the same? So let's see if they can be able to rein in on them. I see on page 19, 50,000 interns yet to secure public jobs. That is state firms pressed to absorb entire group, and it's a story you can read on page 19. When we go inside, we can check this one, Ruto and Wetangula at odds over bid to lease Nzoia Sugar Company, and they are saying that Ruto has announced his government's intention to lease Nzoia, Chemelil, Sony and Muhoroni sugar companies. Speaker Moses Wetangula says all leaders from the county, as well as the leadership of Nzoia Outgrowers Company, must be engaged in the leasing discussion. So Wetangula and local politicians told the president to involve them in any plans which is aimed at saving Nzoia. You can read that on page 8 inside the Daily Nation. The DN2 pullout today. Today, The Voice is what they are having. The pullout of the DN2 today. It's The Voice. Patriarchy kills. That is some placards there. We have just begun. Call to action in countrywide protests against femicide as feminists assure of their resolve to stay the course. That is on pages 4, 5, and 6. Then I see the 51% of what use is marriage or relationship if it hastens women's journey to the grave. That is the question that is being asked on page 3, and so you can read that and get to see the details. I also go to the county news. CS urges state agencies to take in more interns. Only 8,000 out of 57,000 interviewed by PSC last year have so far been absorbed. All right, going to the back page, and it will take us 12 years to clear roads pending bills. According to PS, this is total pending bills at the end of June 2023 stood at 650 billion shillings, and this is bound to rise. So Principal Secretary State Department for Roads Joseph Mungai Mbogwa, when he appeared before the Public Accounts Committee at Parliament Buildings in Nairobi yesterday, the What Roads Ministry wants to be allocated 250. This is the amount in billions of shillings that the Ministry of Roads want to be allocated over the next 4 years to be able to clear the pending bills. All right, we go to the sports pages, and of course it's the Africa Cup of Nations, and we are talking of Bafana of South Africa. We know now they are through to the quarterfinals, and they are looking at the impact of the Brazilians, Sundowns are affectionately known, which extends beyond the pitch, and how Sundowns Stars powered Bafana to AFCON quarters. And so South Africa stunning 2-0 victory over Morocco in the knockout stages of the AFCON has sent shockwaves through the continent, and Mamelodi Sundowns are at the heart of the story. You can read more about Mamelodi Sundowns. They have won the South African League title for the last 6 seasons, and they are at the heart of South Africa's good show in the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations. Hosts Nigeria, South Africa, and DR Congo quarterfinals favorites. Guinea, Mali will want to have a say as they both are going all the way for the very first time. I also see Osimhen on a mission with the Super Eagles. And so the quarterfinals today we have in Abidjan, Nigeria will be taking on Angola. That one will be from 8 p.m. and DR Congo will be taking on Guinea from 11 p.m. And then tomorrow in Bouaké, Mali will be taking on the hosts Cote d'Ivoire from 8 p.m. and Cape Verde will be taking on South Africa, that is from 11 p.m. That is in as far as the Africa Cup of Nations is concerned. That is the Nation. Checking what's being reported in the Standard. A surprise order on IBC bosses splits leaders. Leaders sharply divided on implication of court judgment, with some saying it spells doom for the National Dialogue report, and the others are insisting that the talks addressed wider issues not addressed in the court case. So the dialogue team is only anchored by a way of a motion in Parliament and through gazettement. The document joins a long list of reports that have ended up wasting public resources and time. That is Jeremiah Kioni, the Jubilee Secretary General, speaking about that report. That is a story you can read on page 4 inside the Standard, and of course it's all about that ruling in as far as IBC is concerned. Then I see MPs furious over housing levy cuts. Legislators are an angry lot after their employer slashed 10,500 shillings each from each of them, despite the court stopping deductions. And of course, they join a list of other workers who have also suffered the same. High alert over red-eye disease. Authorities warn Kenyans to keep their hands off their eyes as outbreak first reported in Lamu and Malindi spread with new cases in Kisii and in Nairobi. Still on the front page of the Standard, Ruto tells of those opposed to leasing of the state sugar mills. So President Ruto saying the government's plan to lease out struggling sugar farms was in line with improving their efficiency through a radical management shift to return them to profitability. It's a story you can read on page 7. And then I also see inside the Standard, DPP starts extradition of Kenyan over death of girlfriend in the US. Suspect killed the woman and abandoned her body in a car before fleeing to Kenya, according to a police report. City Court allows the DPP's application to have the suspect tried in the US. So read that on page 12. The back page, it's all about the AFCON. Nigeria, Ivory Coast, keen not to bite more than they can chew. So Nigeria, South Africa among quarterfinals favorites in crazy AFCON. Guinea and Mali, they hope to go one step further after previously finishing second. And of course, we gave you the fixtures to be played today and tomorrow, that is in the quarterfinal stages. I see Morocco, or rather not Morocco, South Africa head coach Hugo Bruce saying, our win over Morocco is history. Cape Verde are as determined as us to reach the semi-finals, and we dare not underrate them. So that is the head coach. I also see this one, Bradley shines in Liverpool win as Man City beat Burnley. That is the matches that were played on Wednesday. City beating Burnley 3-1, Tottenham beating Brentford 3-2, Liverpool thrashing Chelsea 4-1. And of course, the big team was in action last night, Manchester United, and what an entertaining encounter it was. It was a 4-goal thriller as Man United were taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers, and it was a late winner by Kobbie Mainoo to give Man United Erik ten Hag 4-3 victory after a 2-0 lead was squandered, but they were able to win it 4-3. So watu wa Man U leo mko na sauti. Business Daily, finally, the big fight inside the Treasury and CBK. Debt office clashes with CBK on roll. CBK accused of overrunning debt loss. So you can read that tough wars between the CBK and the Treasury's Public Debt Management Office, undermining efforts to bring down the cost of government borrowing, according to sources familiar with the operations of the two agencies. I also see Co-op Bank raises daily ATM cash limit to 60,000 shillings. So Cooperative Bank of Kenya has raised its daily ATM withdrawal limit by 50% to 60,000 as banks start reviewing their daily transaction ceilings to reflect the reduced spending power among customers. So you can read that and what that means. The back page, why it's not all doom and gloom for Kenyan capital markets. Despite the poor run over the past few years, bearish tone in the credit markets is replaced by a more balanced one. And you can read that on Business Daily. So that's what's being covered in today's dailies. And also you can grab your favorite copy and get to read more stories which are covered extensively in the papers. Right here at Hope Media, we have you covered every top of the hour on Hope FM between 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. we have News Watch, and then right here at Hope TV at 4 p.m. we have News on the Go, and then at 7 p.m. we have Dira. 9 p.m. we have News Watch. So you can grab all that is happening across those platforms. We continue to pray for the nation as believers, even as we get to know what is happening. Some minutes to the top of the hour, 8 a.m. And before then, we have the video of the day, and then we will come back and have a look at the same. This is Hope at Dawn.